What's going on, everybody? Bulldog Gaming here. Welcome back to the channel. Yes, I'm not playing a game. It's just me in your viewfinder. I want to kind of go over pictures and videos that surfaced yesterday over on social media, over on Facebook, about the 75 to 100 vehicle accident that happened in Fort Worth. I've talked a lot of times about the weather and talking to everybody about be aware of your surroundings. Now, I've watched every single video from the from every source that you can get a video from the cleanup to the time of the accident, witness accounts to everything you can think of. I'm not going to load any of those videos into my video because all you got to do is search Fort Worth accident, 75 to 100 vehicle pileup, 3 to 5 fatalities. And I've talked about this many a time. Usually I have a background. It's a Kenworth symbol, or it was in the inside of the truck. As many of you know, I retired from driving truck. And when I retired from driving truck, it was due to my mental state, and it was due to health. My body just cannot handle the rough and tumble that I used to do. I'm not young anymore, obviously. So in time, I've been through every inclement weather you can think of, from the hottest part of Death Valley all the way to current temperatures that are plaguing the Midwest, and not the weather nation's Midwest. The Midwest is where I live. I live in Kansas, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas Panhandle, that kind of stuff. That's the Midwest, not the Ohio Valley. I'm sorry. The Ohio Valley will always be the Ohio Valley. Indiana, Illinois, Iowa. When you look at Weather Nation, Weather Underground, or the Weather Channel, they say the Midwest. They don't say the Central Plains. The Central Plains is from South Dakota all the way down to northern part of Texas. And during this time of the year, it never fails. You're going to have inclement weather. You're going to have freezing temperatures. You're going to have snow. You're going to have ice. You're going to have all of that. And this is what I wanted to touch base. It boggles my brain when I see multi-vehicle accidents. 10, 15 years ago, you wouldn't have seen accidents like this, that were this bad, that included commercial motor vehicles. 15, 20 years ago, we relied on weather reports, talking to each other with a CB radio. We talked about, stop at a truck stop to get your fuel, your cup of coffee, get a bite to eat. You asked what the weather was like going the other way, which other way you were going. You knew whether it was safe for you to drive, what you were comfortable to drive on, or in, whatever. But most of the major accidents that you would witness or see throughout the news 15, 20 years ago would be accidents that involved multiple cars, personally owned vehicles, little pickups, little stuff like that. Not all this commercial motor vehicle traffic that is being more and more involved with the today's accidents. And that relies on training. Whether you went to a truck driving school or not, it relies on your training, your know-how, your experience. If you're not experienced in inclement weather driving, whether it be rain will cause one of the biggest accidents just as bad as snow and ice will. Wind will cause one of the biggest accidents out there on the road just as much. If you don't know what you're doing, park. If you don't feel safe, you don't feel comfortable driving in the conditions that you're in, park. Even in your POV, in your personally owned vehicle, if you do not feel safe driving in the conditions, park. You don't, the road is not, being on the road is not worth your life. You cannot be replaced. Your vehicle can be replaced, freight can be replaced, whatever, but you yourself cannot be replaced. And people just don't understand this. I had a really good safety crew. I had a really good dispatch crew working for Miller Truck Lines. If I told them that the roads were not safe to travel on, if I felt that the hindrance of being on the road, uh, they would agree with me. They a lot of your big conglomerate companies would be like, "Oh, it's just this, it's just that," and try to force you to get back on the road. You are the one in command of that wheel, not them. Your life, your safety is what determines whether or not it's a go or stay situation. What happened in Fort Worth is just plain stupidity. Uh, Reading the reports, they're investigating if there was proper maintenance, road maintenance out, deterring the buildup of the ice on the road. Uh, Looking at a social media post from a friend of mine the night before when he went through, people were driving like idiots and jackasses as they were. And it was raining. It hadn't even turned to ice. It hadn't turned to black ice. Um, and in that area, they are never prepared ever. Everything just sneaks up on the Dallas Fort Worth area. Surrounding there, they know what to do. The Dallas Fort Worth area is notorious for having bad accidents that could be prevented, mainly due to road maintenance. Getting salt and sand out on a road, mainly a pre-brine, like what we use up here in Kansas, a pre-treat. If they would have went out and pre-treated, oh, it's going to rain on top of this. Well, yeah, it's going to spread it out. It's going to cover the road uh, with the moisture that falls on top of it before it ices over. You're still going to have icing. You're not going to have the, and if snow would have fallen, you're still going to have the snow, but you're going to be able to get out there and do road maintenance and clear the road and make it safe for people, for travelers, for people to get around. And it is a big factor in a lot of places that don't usually get ice and snow. Um, but you see more and more of the accidents like that in those areas. It's just like you go through an area that looks like a war zone happened because of a tornado. Look at what kind of accidents happen there too. People caught off guard. You know, don't be on your cell phone. Don't be texting and driving. Don't pick this up and get on there while you're going down the road and expect, oh, well, it shows here, da 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 da. No, do not rely on this. Do not rely on this technology. It will lie to you. Do not rely on a GPS that is hooked to a satellite that tells you that 5 miles up the road will be a slowdown, because by the time your GPS gives you that information, it's already too late. You're either at a standstill or you're getting involved in an accident that you don't want to be involved in. I know this from personal experience myself. Um, I was not involved in the accident. I got stopped. I got off the road. I got off one exit before a major accident happened because of an accident farther up the road away from me, because I relied on me. I relied on what I seen, and I also relied on a CB radio. I listened to truckers coming at me, and I told, BS with them back and forth, let them know what they're going to expect behind you. I had just come out of St. Louis once and told them about a big tie-up over going across the Mississippi River. It wasn't an accident, but there was a major tie-up because there was a big rig broke down. And I told them this. I was like, hey, when you get over closer to here, if you're going this way, be prepared to slow down or stop because this is what's going on. And they're like, oh yeah, well when you get over up this way, you got a big accident that's tying things up. Commercial vehicle, blah blah blah, is involved. I got off the road. I let things clear up. I called my company and I said, hey, I'm going to be down for an hour, hour and a half waiting for this cleanup. I'm not going to sit in it. I'm, you know, there's been times where I've looked away to get around it, and on the secondary routes to get around whatever's causing the major tie up on the interstate, there's tie ups on the side roads because, oh, I'm going to follow X truck here that seems to know where he's going, and now X truck in front of me has drove off into a ditch and caused another backup. Okay, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to get off the road. I'm going to use my brain and I'm going to get off the road. So, with what happened yesterday in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and it happens everywhere. I-94 up in Wisconsin, up in Michigan, those places like that, major accidents have happened because people just don't pay attention. They don't check their surroundings. They don't check before they go. Over in Wyoming, major accidents happen up there all the time. One, forced dispatch telling drivers they have to go. I've got 9,000 pounds in my trailer. I ain't going anywhere, Jack. I'm sorry. That is my personal, and I won't. I have told many a dispatcher that, and I almost got fired over it once. And I was like, "You fire me, I'll sue." Because it's my driver's license, it's my life on the line, not you. You're down in a warm, comfortable office where it's heated all the time, and you don't have to deal with the elements all the time. You just have to deal with the elements between your house and work, and vice versa. You don't have to deal with this 8, 10, 12 hours a day. And because I had told my dispatcher that, I got my safety people involved, and it came down to it was me that was in the right and they were in the wrong. Even the customer said, well, he's 9,000 pounds. They have a 20,000 pound limit to be out on the interstate. We don't want him to move. It went that far. But it's just knowing what's ahead of you, not what's behind you, what's ahead of you, knowing what's going on, whether it be for the weather itself, traffic congestion, traffic tie-ups, accidents, or anything like that. Know before you get in an area. 30, 40 miles out, find out what's going on. If you got to stop and look at an app, say, hey, what's going on blah, blah, blah interstate, you can look at an app. It's not always going to be accurate, but you're going to have a general idea what's going on. Put a CB radio in your truck. Get your company to help you out. If they refuse to help you out, go to a CB shop. Find a CB shop that is willing to help you out, set you up with antennas, and get a good working radio. Don't just, buy your $99 radio and expect it to work. Expect it to be and slap an antenna on your truck. Go somewhere to get your equipment to where it's going to work properly and all that, so you can communicate with the next truck in front of you or the truck behind you or the truck coming at you. Know before you go. So it all comes down to common knowledge, common sense. Because a lot of the trucks that were involved in that accident, just by looking at the pictures, were day cabbers, intermodal. The FedEx truck that's in one of the videos that I watched, he was already sliding. He already knew he was in danger, so he went the high road and tried to avoid what was going on. Still slammed into the four wheelers, jumped a retaining wall, and came back over. It's all right there. It's not his fault 100%. He tried. You can hear that he's trying. And when you're on black ice, there's nowhere to go. No matter how good a driver you are, no matter how many years experience you got, black ice is no joke. As Witch and I have experienced black ice many a time, if there's a probability that there's black ice on the road, I ain't going anywhere. I'm sorry. I'll camp up. Call me a pansy, call me a pussy, whatever you want. I will camp up. So heed the warning, heed the word, put the word out. This is how you survive this kind of weather and this kind of situations is know before you go and gut instinct and common sense. That's it. That's all you have to do. So, with that said, safe travels, y'all. I have some other videos coming up for the channel. I'll explain in another video. This is mainly just for this. Big shout out to Risky Clay. Dude, just hang in there. It'll happen. It's not going to happen overnight. We're still here for you, bud. Big shout out to Silent Fan 85. We're still here. If you ever need a shoulder or an ear, just let us know. We're here. So, and those two gentlemen know what's going on. So safe travels, y'all. Use common sense. Get a CB radio for your big truck, or get a CB radio for your personally owned vehicle, your POV. You want to know what's going on? Don't be stupid on it. But you want to know what's going on in front of you? Get a CB radio. Listen to local radio stations. Don't listen to Sirius XM all the time. Listen to a local radio station as you're entering an area. Check your weather before you go. Look on a weather app. Look on Weather Nation, Weather Underground, whatever weather channel. Look at local news. Look them up. Look up their app. Look up, so you know where you're going and you know what's going on. So I will catch you guys later, and until next time.